yung issue about dominance ng mga oligopoly. Alam natin, because of a few families who control, also not only in economics, it also translates to the political sector. Kaya tingin natin pagka opening up the economy and allowing more players would somehow address this problem and also lead to not only improving our economic condition but also the governance condition of the country. So
ang problema kasi because of the pandemic na noon nga na tapos na nangyari ay halos kinulong tayo noon nung panahon na yon. Talagang tumigil halos ang ekonomiya natin. Kaya ang nangyari, since mahina ang ekonomiya natin, ang humina din ang revenues na nakukolekta ng ating gobyerno, kaya kinakailangan mangutang, ano? Kaya nung bago nung panahon ng before the last administration, panahon ni Pangulong Aquino, ang ating domestic debt to I mean not domestic but total debt to GDP ratio siguro mga close to 30%. But after this administration of the President Duterte, dahil kasi because of yung the pandemic also and yung talagang highly restrict yung mga lockout natin at kinakailangan natin mangutang para nga sa iba't ibang kakagastusan. Of course, kasama na doon yung vaccines at saka yung mga ayuda. Lumaki yung utang natin na umabot halos ng 60% of GDP. So, ang pag malaki yung utang mo, mahihirapan ka na mangutang for investment dahil kasi medyo mag-iisip na yung magpapautang sa'yo kung makakabayad ka. Kaya yung ating mga credit rating agencies, tinitingnan kung gaano nakalaki yung utang mo. So, kung meron na tayong napakahirap ng dagdagan yung utang natin dahil malaki ang ibabayad natin, kaya saan manggagaling yung ating investment? So, kaya halos lahat ng bansa dito sa rehiyon natin, dahil lahat naman tayo dumaan dun sa pandemic at talagang yung ating debt, lumaki mga lumobo yung debt natin. Lahat tayo ngayon ng mga bansa naghahanap ng other sources of investment. So, ito yung foreign direct investment na hindi na makakadagdag sa utang ng isang bansa. Kaya halos napakahalaga ng foreign direct investment dun sa pagbangon lalo na after the pandemic. And ito nga tiningnan namin kung ano nga yung dahil kasi pag tiningnan natin yung iba-ibang bansa dito sa rehiyon, nakikita naman natin na lumalago naman yung ating foreign direct investment pero iwan na iwan tayo ng ibang bansa, ano? Yun nga in the last 10 years, ang ating foreign direct investment halos lumago ng 3.9%, but this is like only a little than one-third that of Vietnam and a little more than one-half of Indonesia. So ganun lang ang hina ng paglago ng ating foreign direct investment. Kaya tiningnan namin ano ba yung mga nakakaapekto talaga sa foreign direct investment. And of course of interest sa atin and itong mga restrictive provisions sa ating economic sa ating constitution. Dahil pag tiningnan natin yung iba-ibang bansa, meron ding may datos din yan, yung merong tinatawag na regulatory restrictiveness index. At yung index na yun between 0 and 1, pagka 0, mababa yung restriction, pag close to 1, mataas. Alam nyo, out of 83 countries, ang Philippines pangatlo in terms of restrictiveness. Kaya meron kaming ginawa talagang yung staff namin, si Rucher Lacasa, who is a statistician, merong regression model na ginawa para mapag-aralan talaga. Ginamit namin yung 5 bansa dito sa Asia, ang Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam at saka ang Pilipinas. Tiningnan namin yung foreign direct investment na pumapasok sa mga bansa na ito at tiningnan namin yung kanilang restrictiveness index At nakita namin na napakalaki talaga na yung the more restrictive ang isang ekonomiya, lalong mas mahina ang pagpasok ng foreign direct investment sa bansang ito, ano. And ang kaibahan kasi ng Pilipinas, kaya very interesting sa atin, bakit so much fuss about the Constitution? Dahil kasi ang Pilipinas lang ang natatangi na yung kanyang restriction ay nandoon sa Constitution. Because other countries, sabi nga ng ibang, of course may mga ibang sector na in other countries mas restrictive pa kaysa Pilipinas. Pero hindi kasi siya, nandun lang sila sa mga batas niya. So, anytime po pwedeng mapalitan yon. Kaya, it's really a short term yung Philippines na yung constitutional restriction nandun. Kaya parang nabubukod tangi. Kaya siguro yung mga, especially si Speaker, because he goes around he's been to Davos and then trying to, yung mga sa foreign investors. Yung kasing, since yung yung constitutional restriction na yun, parang nakatatak sa mukha natin eh. Kaya parang ang hirap gumalaw dahil yun parang impression na because of that constitutional provision, we are very restrictive in terms of attracting foreign direct investment. Kaya mahalagang signaling device talaga na kung marirelax natin itong restrictive provision in our Constitution. That's yun ang isang significance ng effort na to of relaxing the restrictive provision of the Constitution. Because of the restrictive provision in our Constitution, na kinakailangan na ang majority control is Pilipino, ang isang banyaga, kung talagang gusto niya mag-invest dito sa Pilipinas, dahil nakikita siya, dahil yun naman talagang one of the primary consideration is, kikita ba ako dyan? Of course, the other factor is yung risk, na kaya expected return, dahil kasi kinakailangan mo i-consider din yung risk. Ngayon, kung pwedeng yung mga interesadong investor, tataya ka na talaga, para gusto mo talaga mag-invest, at since because of this foreign restriction, hahanap ka ng pwedeng magdami sa iyo as your partner para at least lumalabas sa papel na it's controlled or owned by a foreign by a national, by a Filipino national. At ganyan po din ang nangyari doon sa kaso ng nung NAIA Terminal 3, yung Piatco. Kung matatandaan ninyo, nung bandang 2010, tapos na yung kasing yung Fraport is a German company who is interested to invest doon sa ating terminal, yung sa NAIA 3. But then, because of the restriction in our constitution na it should be local, Filipino, who is only allowed to invest, naghanap yung Fraport ng partner. But unfortunately, yung napili niyang partner ay medyo nagkaroon ng mga kaso, kaya hindi kaagad kahit natapos na noong 2010, it took actually 10 years dahil kasi because of yung mga cases, hindi nakapag-operate siya. And more than that, sabi nga, ito yung example na binigay ni Professor Pabel. More than that, hindi siya nag-operate for 10 years. Kahit tapos na siya, imagine kung magkano sana na yung kinita. Yung nagkaroon ng kaso dito, na dahil kasi nga pinatigil ng Pilipinas yung operation, na kinasuhan ng Pilipinas nung Fraport, o sa arbitration, at nanalo yung Fraport, kaya, and the Supreme Court affirmed the ruling of the arbitrational court, which required the government of the Philippines to pay Fraport 25 billion. So imagine yung 25 billion na binayada natin, tapos yung opportunity loss pa natin in terms of operating sana yung Fraport. So yun yung mga isang problema about governance na because of this restriction, nahanap sila ng dami, and then kaya din yung mga papasok sa atin, medyo may question na kaagad. Because if you're willing to enter in this kind of deals, somehow, nandoon na yun, kaya yung governance is affected. Kaya kung mas maganda sana magiging transparent itong kung talagang open na we are open to investors and we'll be able to attract yung high quality investors who are really observing good corporate governance or yun yung mga papasok sa atin. So in that, it will also demand accountability from the government. Dahil hindi na siya takot because he has the rights also. I think that would also help the overall governance in the country. Plus of course, yung issue about dominance ng mga oligopoly. Alam natin, because of a few families who control, also not only in economics, it also translates to the political sector, to the kaya ilang kung tutuusin, yung mga interest din ng mga oligopolies na to, somehow it also affects yung our political system. Kaya tingin natin pagka opening up the economy and allowing more players would somehow address this problem and also lead to not only improving our economic condition but also the governance condition of the country.